Good evening. Good evening. If you guys can, hey Miss Randall, how you doing? I like to see some faces, but that's fine. Me, yeah, myself. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing? Okay. Let me put my chat up here.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I am great. I've been on a lot of calls today. I was just on a couple calls, and whew, when I tell you is young people out here killing it, they are not trying to work a 9 to 5. They already understand this thing. They ain't even really starting 9 to 5. I've been to a lot of events over the last couple of weeks, and they are making money like crazy. I could share with you guys some of the stuff that they're doing if you're interested.
Turn right on Mount Olive. Absolutely.
Are you guys interested in that? We could start. I could just go ahead and briefly talk about it for a second.
Absolutely. I'm interested in whatever knowledge you can share.
So basically, they are leveraging other people, which I talk about all the time, but they're leveraging people in the Philippines, right? So what they're doing, they're finding these guys over the Philippines that can do pretty much everything, and then they just go around to events and they market it as if they're doing it, right? And they're charging, just say they might charge you $1,000 to make content for you or do videos or whatever that service is, right? And then they pay them $3 an hour at the Philippines. They paying them $3 an hour. Like another call going on right now where they, breaking that all down with your what they call virtual assistants, right? You paying them $3 an hour, and you go out make content around whatever that service is, and you get them to do the work, which is crazy. So it's called freelance, right? Anything you could do online, like grant writing. I don't know if anybody on here familiar about grants. That's something that we're definitely going to get into, writing grants for the real estate, because there's a lot of money out there for grants in the real estate space. So if any of you into that, then that's definitely something that we're going to tap into, the grants. All right. So as you know, my name Frederick Ward. I take over other people's mortgages and using both personal credit and business credit, and that's how I built my real estate portfolio mainly. I started in 2018, so I have a trucking background. So I used to drive trucks, and I used to own tractor trailers and all that stuff, and I was running that whole business off of my personal credit. I was running the whole trucking business off of my personal credit and credit cards, right? And money, cash money, my personal money, and my personal credit cards. So in 2008, I ended up filing bankruptcy. So when the market went crazy, everything happened, right? So I filed bankruptcy around that time in 2008. Went back to work, started back working at FedEx, driving trucks for them. And then I said, okay, you know what? One of my friends there at the time, she told me, she said, what else are you doing? How are you making money on the side? You got to have two sources of income, right? You got to have two sources of income. And I only had one source of income. So what did I do? I started a lawn service. I started a lawn service in 2014, 15, somewhere around there. Hold on one second, guys. I started a lawn service around that time, and I started making extra a little extra money or whatever on the side. And what that allowed me to do was get out of debt because I took that money I was making on the side. I still was making six figures at FedEx, right? But I took that extra money that I was making on the side, and I started paying off my student loans, started paying off cars. I just got out of debt. And I think I stopped doing that around 2018. Then I went to real estate school. I got my real estate license and I started learning about real estate. I got my first deal as an agent. I listed a property. It was this one guy, he called, he had two properties. I list both of the properties at the same time. Two investors came and bought the property, right? And then I realized, I'm like, okay, I got 3% of the deal. After I paid my broker, I probably got half of that. I was like, I'm on the wrong side of this deal, right? So I realized at that point, I need to be more of an investor than an agent. I love something Ms. Randall said the other day. She said, I'm tired of my money just making my money stretch. I'm trying to make my money grow at this point. I love that. I said, yeah. So a lot of people, you're just, what you're doing, you stretching your money, right? But then what are you doing to grow your money? And there's only one thing that you could do to grow money, right? While you sleep, make money in your sleep. And that is to invest. What are you going to invest in? Stocks, real estate, you know, personal preference, each his own, right? Mine is real estate because real estate has allowed me to leave the 9 to 5, right? And it don't take long. Once you learn the strategies and properties to buy, it don't take long before you're able to leave that 9 to 5. So I bought my first what I call sub two, right? So that's basically what I said, take over other people's mortgages. I bought my first one in 2019. Have anybody ever heard of sub two? Everybody on here probably heard of sub two if you've been watching me. That's basically where you take over somebody else's mortgage, right? You take over their mortgage. And the good thing about it, you don't have to show any proof of income. You don't have to do a credit check. You don't have to do any kind of verification for nothing. Okay, that's the gravy part about it. You don't have to show no documentation to take over their mortgages. And what we're doing, well, what I'm teaching people is to do it with business credit. So you can basically leverage your business credit. Okay. Um, you could withdraw money off credit cards. So a lot of people, what you got to understand is credit is money. So you leverage that. So you learn how to leverage that business credit and you go and you buy real estate with it. Let me log on to Facebook, see live. So that's what we're leveraging. And you know what? I talked to people, I was talking to somebody today, and guess what? They're scared. And they've been wanting to jump in for a long time, 10, 15 years, but they are scared. They are scared of the debt, right? If you don't learn to manage debt, then you're gonna stay in it. I'm gonna say it again. If you don't learn how to manage your debt, then you're gonna stay in that debt because you're gonna need a car. What's the American dream? Most people, they want a car, they want a house, and they want to put their kids through school. You see what I'm saying? Like, is that it? Most people never think about owning multiple properties. It's like they just want one house. Like when you ask people, they're like, "Oh, I just want to buy a house." But what if I could tell you can have 10 houses, 20 houses, 30 houses? You see what I'm saying? Like it's possible. And you could do it at a very, very short period of time. Actually, if you get good, the better you are with managing it, if you don't have crazy spending habits where you go in and you like to shop and you like to, do all this stuff, um, then you can manage your debt pretty good. You can definitely buy you a lot of properties, and we use Section 8 to pay that debt down, to pay you. So you the middleman in the whole transaction, right? You're the middleman. You buy the property. Section 8 pays you. You pay the lender back, and you keep the difference. And because we're in Atlanta, well, I'm in Atlanta. It depends on where you are. You can buy wherever. It don't matter. We can buy deals anywhere in the United States. But I like the equity play more so than cash flow, right? And if you can get a little bit of both, then that's fine. Like each deal gonna be different. Like I can go on the line right now and find a deal that can cash flow $1,000, but what's the equity gonna be in 3 to 5 years? Or you can get something that probably gonna cash flow now $300 to $500, but you know that equity gonna be crazy in the next 3 to 5 years. It all depends on like that market, what the market doing in that area. You see what I'm saying? Like I know here where I'm at in McDonough, it's growing. It's growing. Like if you look up the top, I think it's the top 15 cities to live in. I think McDonough definitely made the list. So it's definitely growing here. Atlanta, period. Anywhere in if you're in Atlanta, anywhere in the suburb. Can everybody tell me where you from? Where you live? Where you at right now? Where you located? What's your market?
So I'm in the Fairburn area.
You in Fairburn?
Yes.
The house I just bought is over Stonewall Tail Road. You know where that at?
Yes.
Okay. That's the one I just bought. And over there they're building all kind of stuff and I'm just smiling ear to ear like I'm like people just don't know. They just don't know. Like that area is growing like crazy.
It's growing. Hmm.
I hear a lot of stuff that they're building over there and I'm just like I can't wait. And especially in the Union City, guess what? Union City, you can still get those houses for really cheap. You can still buy houses in Union City for really cheap. So you gotta jump in, right? You gotta get in the game, right? You can't afford to not to, especially at this time when you can still buy houses at 2, 3, and 4% interest rate. When I first started telling people that, I'm like, I'm buying houses at 2 and 3 and 4% interest rate, they can't believe it. And the reason why is because I'm taking over somebody else's mortgage. I never said I was going to get a new one. Not right now, anyway. You see what I'm saying? But if I need to down the line, and another thing you guys could do, right? What I tell you, we full of McDonald's. Yeah, we full over here. I ain't gonna tell you no. We are full. Woo. Yeah. But what this little young guy did, right? He was 19. He started buying properties 5 years. He now 24. He just bought properties, taking over other people's mortgages, right? He built a portfolio up and he sold his whole portfolio. And now he said he's retiring. Like, think about it. He's 24 years old. 24 years old. He built up a whole portfolio of real estate and sold the whole portfolio. So that's something you guys could do too. If you say, okay, you know what? I don't know if I want to be in it for a long time, but I do want to make money over the next 5 years. Build up your portfolio. You can sell the whole thing. Like they sell portfolios. It's a business. Like this is a business. This is not just something that, like when I help you set up your stuff, we're setting up a business. Any questions on any of that so far? Okay. And like I like to ask people, are you interested in real estate or are you committed to real estate, right? I'm committed. I am committed because I already know what he's gonna do. I'm around too many other people, right, that are doing it and that been doing it, and I'm not gonna get left out. I'm not gonna get left out. You ain't leaving me. And I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this for a while. Like the substitute, like I said, my first time taking over a payment was in 2019. I don't even think people knew what it was, and half the people still don't know what it is. Right? They heard about it, but they don't know how to do it. There's a lot of paperwork goes into it. There's a lot that goes into it. So getting these deals, um, it it's 28 different ways to buy real estate, right? It's 28 different ways you could buy real estate. I'll drop the. Let me see if I can drop. I'm gonna drop the link in here for you guys if you want it. All the 28. It's like a guide. I have a whole guide, the different ways you could buy real estate, right? And by far, this probably to me at least, and everybody else I know, is the best way to buy real estate. Is where you take over other people's mortgage. I can't stress that enough. Like not going to get a loan, hard money, what we call hard money lender, where you pay interest only. If you don't have a job, you can do what they call a debt service, a DSCR loan, right? But anyway, we can go over that later. It's 28 different ways to buy real estate. And like I said, taking over somebody else's mortgage is by far the best way. We closing within 2 weeks. And if there's no HOA, we could probably do it in a week. So we are able to scale much quicker. Like you can scale much quicker. And depending on how good you are with managing your debt, like I said earlier, if you already got good credit, you got good saving habits, you're not doing nothing crazy with your money, and you can buy even more. Right? If you got bad habits like me, I had to like, I like cars and stuff like that. So I was just going out buying a bunch of cars and but now I'm like, mm, yeah, I'm not doing that no more. I'm just saying. Um, when you first get money, when people first get money, a lot of people flip. Flipping to me is the worst thing you could do. I'm gonna just put that out there, right? Because you selling that property, you got to go do it all over again. When you holding that property, you got holding costs. You got you paying lenders, you paying the workers, you paying everybody get paid except you in the beginning, right? Because you might hold that property 6 months. Nobody gonna work with you for 6 months and not get paid. So you the only one not getting paid for a whole 6 months. Once you get paid, now you trying to go and rush and find the next deal. So you're gonna put all your money you just made into finding something else. And you just repeating that cycle. If you don't have a team built out where you're doing multiple flips at the same time, you just doing one here and one there, you just working a job because that's not real estate investing. That's not investing in real estate because once you sell it, it's done. Now you gotta go do it all over again. But when you buy a property and you hold and you sitting on these properties, you get money coming in every single month. Go ahead. Got a question? Zoom, change your name for me so everybody can know who the Zoom caller. You had your hand raised.
Hold on, I'm sorry, this is Yolanda. I was trying to get off of mute.
Okay.
So can you talk about, okay, you're acquiring a property, so to property need work. You see the videos you posting, you going in and pulling everything out of the property, and you say you're gonna do the floors over and you're gonna do that. Can you talk some on those steps and actions and how did you go about acquiring a team and getting all of that stuff done? Because acquiring a property is one thing, but there's a lot that come after that too. So can you talk a little to that?
Yeah, so as you know, Yolanda's in my group and she uses an app called hmm, what is that app you use?
Task rabbit.
TaskRabbit. Okay, so you go to TaskRabbit, what she does, she go to TaskRabbit and she find a contractor, whoever it is, and there you build that relationship, right? So you kind of build a relationship and you stick with those people. And then they have referrals, and then a referral is the best person you can get to do a job for you. Because if you get a referral, the chance of them like screwing you over is slim. So every time I get somebody, if I don't have that person, I'm looking for a referral. I'm not necessarily looking online for this person, right? I'm gonna call somebody that's in the field and say, look, who do you have that can do this? And that person gonna refer that person to me. So now what's my chances of that person trying to screw me over? Because they already have a relationship with that person. So when I go in and I say, okay, I need to do floors or whatever, like you already built a relationship with someone from Task Rapid. I would reach out to him and say, "Hey, do you know anybody that do floors?" Yeah, I know somebody. If he's in that industry, he's gonna know somebody, right? Another thing you could do is go to Home Depot. If you go to Home Depot early in the morning, it's a bunch of contractors at Home Depot early in the morning. And they sometimes they'll walk around passing out their cards. I promise you, like they don't bite. Like you could ask them, like, "Hey, you do such and such." Yeah, 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 yeah. When you see that van out there, like they got numbers on their van, just walk up to them, like, "Yo, what you do?" So the people that you need is, they are available. Like, and it's slow right now too. To be crazy, it's slow, so you can really get some good prices on your work. You want to know why it's slow? Because the regular investor don't know about sub two, and they going to get hard money loans paying 15% interest only on a hard money loan, which is crazy. You know, the flippers, and then they sitting on a deal just dropping their price every week because they can't sell it. So I just don't understand why they still do that. But yeah, that's definitely what I would do. I would look online, like you got Angie List. It's a lot of different websites with contractors and stuff like that. And then if you're a little skeptical about them, you can ask for their insurance and their license and stuff like that to make sure that they're legit. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Yeah. Stop talking about us. Who is oh, Daniela is I'm not really talking about you, Daniela, but I'm just saying, like, I have converted Daniela over to being a on Section 8. So she now got her properties on Section 8. So hopefully that I'm trying to get her out the flipping game though. I'm trying to get Daniela to stop flipping and to start just keeping them houses. Because she got one right now for sale, and is very nice. Like is I mean it's gorgeous. I don't know if you could drop the link in here. You could drop the link in here, Daniela, and we can look at it. Let them look at it to your house on Zillow. Drop the Zillow link. Yeah, it's been a rough year I'm just saying, like, maybe you could shed some light on the wholesaling, but I mean not wholesaling, but the flipping stuff. First of all, do anybody on here want to be a flipper?
It's Shalonda again. So I got a question. So, I mean, you say flipping is so bad, but we had conversations about like diversifying your strategy. So buy three, flip one, buy two, flip one, like because it could be some benefits to that, right? So not flip them all, but buy and hold some and flip some for, if you need a large sum of money, like once or twice a year, right? So that you can get two or three more properties. So what is your thought about diversifying your strategy versus just sticking with straight buy and hold or straight flipping? What about like a strategy that says for every three houses I buy, I'll flip one house and keep three and flip one house?
Okay, so my thing would be making sure one of the best things you could do in this business is to make sure you got good credit, right? If you're going to be in a real estate, you need good credit. I'm just saying. You that's going to be your lifeline. So when you get these deals, they changed it now to 12 month, but you can refinance. And we all know when you refinance, right, you got to leave 25% of that in the deal and you could take out the rest. So it's actually better than selling because now you get to keep that house. So like when I talk about the house I made 250 off of, I didn't sell the house. Yeah, I could have sold the house and walked away with like 300 some thousand, but I decided to um refinance it, pulled out over 250. Now I kept that house, right? Kept the house. I get $800 a month from rent from it, and I got the $250,000.
How long did it take you to have to refinance? Did you have to wait a year? You-
No, they just changed that not too long ago. I don't know, Danielle. You know when they changed it, it was probably about 2 years ago, maybe. But I do hear some lenders out there, that would still refinance to do a cash out refinance. So it's a difference. If you're not going to do a cash out, why are we refinancing? Okay, some people might want to get a lower interest rate. So if you could save a point, it might be worth refinancing if you could save a whole point. But me personally, I don't care about the interest rate that much because I'm not paying it no way. I care about if I can get I can refinance three at a time. So you can refinance as many as you want at one time. So once you start building them up, you can refinance and pull cash out if you need cash. But I would say you can use like if you have a good job, if you have a job, right? It's just one thing. If you have a job, leverage that job to the fullest, right? Leverage your job, use your job as a partner because you can still buy houses the way you did, putting 5% down. Put 5% down. I was telling Ms. Randall about this. I was telling her about you the other day where you bought a house and you lived in it, then you move and you ran out on Section 8 and you just keep doing that. That's just one way. And then plus you're a realtor, so you got what 3% back off of that. So that was gravy for you. But I'm sorry, what was your question again? I'm just running off at the mouth.
Well, I mean, I think you answered it. I was just asking you about diversifying your strategy, like
Okay, yeah.
doing a mix of buy and hold and flipping or whatever. So that sometimes like if you cash strapped or whatever, or without getting too much into my personal business, but if you make some um decisions and you kind of cash strapped or something like that, and you want to make a quick flip, like you can do a flip sometimes just depending on how much you have, how much work you have to do. You may be able to flip the house in 3, 4 months, right? Versus now, since you have to wait a year before you can refinance, unless you can do like a HELOC or if you got equity in the house or something like that, just diversifying your strategy so you have the flexibility to not only make money, a few $100s per month and building equity. But if you needed large sums of money, for every 3 or 4 houses that you hold, you flip a house. So you're not, you know, just stuck in
Uh,
one strategy.
I'm just saying, I'm not a fan of flipping. I never did it. I would even recommend buying a house in probably in a not like Atlanta, right? So I do have houses in Montgomery. Something that would cash flow. Like something you could spend $30,000 on and make $1,000 a month. You see what I'm saying? And you using credit to do it. So once again, you just gotta leverage your credit, not so much of money. Because how much you make off yours, Yolanda, if you don't mind, like your Section 8?
About $400 after everything's paid.
After everything paid, you profit 400. But let me ask you this. How long did you stay in your house for before the value went up over $100,000?
Well, I bought mine at a good time. So I bought mine, and within, I want to say like 13 months, I had $100,000 worth of equity in it. I bought it for a 2.75% interest rate. So I got in when they were just beginning to build. So that's one of the strategies, like you said, that I like to do is buy when they are starting new communities. You get in the very beginning when the price is low. By the time they finish the development, the price has gone up, went from 270 something to over 370. And that's instant equity and low finance, no low interest rate. So that's how mine was.
But you said you bought at the right time. But I'm telling you, anytime in depending on where you at, right? it's a good time to buy real estate. So anytime in the metro Atlanta is a good time to buy real estate, because if you look back when people was paying 50, 60, $70,000 over asking for a property, if you go back and you look at what they paid for that property, even though they paid 50 or $60,000 over, look at how much it's worth right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I think anytime is a good time to buy real estate, but sometimes maybe better times. Like, now we've seen interest rates go up 7, 8%, right? So that 2%, 2 point, I think my brother got even interest rate lower than I did. Those come around every blue moon, right? So like now what we're around 5.5%. So, but when is a good time to buy real estate? It's always a good time to buy real estate because that's the one asset that never depreciates unless you tear it up. But then if you can build, put little in and still get a lot out of it. So it
Yeah.
just saying in my particular situation, like when I got in, I don't often hear about people making a 6-figure profit, or, building equity in 12, 13 months, unless they already bought it with some equity in it.
See, I'm big on taxes as well, right? So taxes, learning tax strategies is a part of building wealth, right? So when we go back to flipping, that's not a wealth building um, um, vehicle. Flipping is not a wealth building vehicle because when you flip it, you have those capital gains, and yeah, some people do it the 1031 exchange, but that's just kicking the can down the road to lead to somebody else or whatever, however that go, right? But when you hold it, now you get so many more benefits, and that's how when you see people don't pay nothing for taxes, that's how I'm able to write $70,000 off of just vehicles alone, $70,000 off this year just from vehicles, not even include because of the properties that, well, the vehicles alone, section 179, with the vehicles, you can write off your vehicles. I'll talk about that. Teach you guys how to do that. Put your vehicles in your LLCs, right? But with your properties, you're not going to be paying any taxes. Everything is a write-off. Like I was telling Ms. Randall, like when you buy a course or you buy into education, your food, whatever you buy, you got an LLC structured out. Guess what? You get to write it off on your taxes. So to me, I like using that tax strategy as to help me build wealth. If you get what I'm saying. So I'm not having to spend so much. It's one thing you go out, you make all this money, but then at the end of the year, you got a big tax bill. No, we're not gonna do that. That's what we're not gonna do. So I'm gonna help you get to the money and save the money. So what they call it, you gotta create money, right? You create money, then you gotta learn how to keep the money, and then you gotta learn how to protect the money. See, what a lot of people do, they go and create the money, but then they don't keep it, they end up spending it just to write everything back off to zero. So they'll go out, create money, make money doing whatever they do to make money. Then they spend it thinking they need to get back down to zero so they don't pay money in taxes. And that's not the way to go, right? And to the flippers, that's what they do. I'm just saying, I ain't picking on you, Daniela, but that's what y'all do. Y'all go make money, then y'all try to spend all your money, and then you try to write everything off so it make it look like you ain't made no money. So now when you go try to get something, guess what? You ain't made no money. So what I do, right? Use your LLC, put yourself on a W-2. Now you an employee for your company. Did that make sense? I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying. You coming around though. You coming around. You coming around. We gonna get you there. Um, but yeah, you got to use the benefits that's there in front of your face, right? They're there in front of your face. They for everybody. They don't pick and choose who could take advantage of these tax strategies. So you just got to use them to benefit you in your situation, and I use them to benefit me in my situation. and everybody that I teach, I put you on to my CPAs. I mean, I share my resources with you guys, right? What else? Any other questions we got on here? What did I not go over? The renovation part. Oh yeah, Section 8. So we all know that's my thing. With this market the way it is, you got to screen your tenants. I'm gonna say it like that, right? You got to screen your tenants. You don't want to put anybody in your property. So we screen our tenants. We making sure that we getting the best out there. And I think Section 8 tries to screen them to a certain degree as well at this point. So, but we're gonna screen them too. So, and you're gonna have probably quite a few people coming at you, right? You're gonna have quite a few tenants want to stay in your property. Not even here's the crazy part. You're gonna have people that's working on like people you might hire to work on your property gonna be trying to rent your property from you. Like that happens a lot. If you ain't got no voucher, we ain't really, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no voucher, we ain't really dealing with you like that, you know? So we looking for them vouchers. That's that guaranteed money, man. Guaranteed money coming in on the drip. You might be like Yolanda said she had 400 now. My first rental house, I was paying $150 every month to go towards that mortgage because I really didn't know what I was doing, right? I was paying money every month towards it. But now that same property, okay, I'm gonna tell you the story of it, right? I had two ladies in it. Um, okay, do I use a property management company? No, I do not. So basically, I'm gonna tell you that what I do, um, I have a few handymans, right? So when whatever issue they have, I just send the handymans over. And the handyman, that's all the property manager is gonna do and charge you 10%, right? They have their crew, they have their people, and then when something happen, it's a $200 repair, but they charge you 600. Like plus they're gonna charge you 10% every month. So you don't need a property management company. Like if I mean I'm just saying you really don't. They it's not like I mean anybody could do that. You could turn your handyman essentially into a property manager. Like you see what I'm saying? Like, hey, here's the number. If you got any repairs, if you got anything that you need, call this person. That's your handyman. So now your handyman is only instead of you talking to 20 different tenants, you only talking to your handyman, probably between two handymen, depending on what area they in, right? You got a handyman that covers all your properties over here. Just say, look, whenever my tenant have an issue, I'm gonna just have them text you, and then you just let me know what's going on, send me an invoice, right? And that's it. And it's not like that's why I do a lot of stuff on the front end when I first get a house. I go in, you see me, I go in, I'm changing out everything, water valves, water lines, especially with water stuff. Because what you do not want is a leak. I'm changing out faucets, toilets, everything. I'd rather go spend $100 on the toilet than have some leaking from the toilet later. So at least, and then when people see you got a new toilet, okay, we got a new toilet, right? Nobody want to go in a house with an old toilet, so I'm changing out toilet, everything. Um, yeah, that's to answer your question, Ms. Randall. Like, yeah, you don't need a property manager. They just gonna overcharge you for everything. Yep. I was telling you guys something. Can't remember what I was saying. One of those days, you got a direct message. Hold on. Yep. Um, how does it work when you take off mortgage? Just like yourself for the process. So yeah, when I take over somebody's mortgage, you buying problems, right? you gotta figure out what the problem is. So that's what you're doing. You have a solution to their problem. You already know because you know from me, whatever. I'm gonna teach you the method, the how you do it, and you have the solution to their problem. So when they're telling you the problem, you already know what the solution gonna be, right? But you got to see what it is because sometimes it might not be money related, right? Some a lot of time it is. Um, but you can kind of do your homework on the front end sometimes too to figure out what that problem is if they're in pre foreclosure. So, and you just explain the process to them. What you don't want to go too deep into it because they not gonna really understand it. Um, Not defend no one, but people. I was just telling somebody this on a call earlier today. People that makes or that live in a more expensive house, they kind of understand the financial stuff a little bit better. So when you're explaining to them, they get it. So it's easier to take over a bigger house than a smaller house because the people that staying in like 150 or $200,000 houses, they gonna be mm they don't get it, and it's like nope, 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 and then to the point where they about to lose it, then they might come back around. But when somebody make staying in $1 million house, like, and you break that down to them, and you tell them you finna give them such and such, such and such, like, let's do it. They be all over it. So yeah, so basically, we taking over. You're gonna start paying that mortgage on their behalf, right? That'll be essentially your mortgage, but it's still in their name, and your name is going on the deed, but not your name. We'll teach you about that, but not your name, but you get the deed, okay? So you have the deed. It's two documents, your deeds and your mortgage, two separate documents. You take over that deed because it's your house now. They keep that mortgage. Never show up on your credit. That allows you to scale like crazy. And then if you ever need to refinance it, we can always take it, refinance it. Even though the mortgage is in their name, we could now put that mortgage in your name if you ever need to refi, pull out cash or something like that. Which I do recommend. Like that's a tool, that's a goal to refinance it. Yeah, you at some point you want to refinance, like Yolanda said. You want a lump sum, right? You want that 6 figure date. So once you start building up and you start seeing like you got some equity in these properties, yeah, you want to start refinancing a couple of them. Definitely. And I recommend, like I said, I before I was doing three at a time, like refinancing. So it's much better than the other word. I don't want to say it, but much better than flipping. You feel me? You get to keep the property, and now those same. My first sub two deal, I took it over. I gave the seller $2,000. I gave the real. It was a realtor brought it to me. Gave her $4,000. I paid 100. I paid $1,700 to close it. So that's what $7,700. I took it over. It was $131,000 on the mortgage. First deal in 2019, right? That property now worth over $400,000. That one property. So it really only take like one deal, like can put some money in your pocket if you want to sell it, refinance it, however you want to do it. So hopefully I answered all you guys' questions. If you have any more, let me know. You can come off mute too, like just talk to me. I like to have a conversation. I like that. You can come off mute and talk to me if you have a question. Yeah. So I want to know this though. I want to know like I want to know you got a question? You came off mute.
I did. I don't appreciate you bashing us. This
Well, I'm
has
not
been
really.
paying the this has been taking care of the business for quite a few years. Okay. But I agree with Yolanda tactic because me and you talked about this a few years ago where buy, hold, then flip, buy, hold, flip, buy, hold, flip. That is a great strategy. And if someone could do that, that's great. But yes, it is some struggles. I agree with being a flipper. If I knew better or if I had a mentor at the time, because of course I've been winging it, I would have just been buying it and pulling the cash out because back then it was very fruitful because the average flip was like say about 60 to $90,000. In fact, I have one in Conyers that was what 78, but now it's worth 350, and I financed it at 78 and change, and I owe 46, I believe, and that's the one you actually got me to do the Section 8 on. It was a rough patch, but I did it. You know how that goes. But other than that, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Hold it. It's just when you're putting so much in, it's kind of hard to wait for the return. And to your token, yeah, we do at the end of the year, we do run to try to put our money back into a home so we don't have to pay taxes. But I still don't agree with you bashing us. But at the same time, I do agree in some aspects because it is rough. Because when you're a flipper, you have to keep moving to the next deal or you will go broke because it is expensive. And 9 out of 10, when I look at some of these deals I give up, it's like in a few months, it's already over 100,000 in equity given to the person when I could have took that money out and did something positive with it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not paying the mortgage anyway. So I come to the mindset is I'm not looking at interest anymore. Interest don't matter to me because I'm not going to pay it anyway. The person who's rented is going to pay it for me, no matter how much money I take out. And that's the setback. That's what put us in prison, looking at the interest rate. Oh, I want to pay that. I want to pay that. Who gives a damn? You're not paying it anyway. The person is paying it for you. Take the damn cash out. Whether you're getting $100 a month, you already took that lump sum and you go buy something else, and then you're gonna make some dividends from the other one. That one that you used, you might make $100 a month off of it or something. But the fact of the matter is, you can take that money and buy something else. I'll give you a prime example, which I wish I didn't flip that one anyway. But I had this house in Florida, and I took the cash out, and I bought two homes here in Georgia with no mortgage. I ain't had no mortgage on them. But I got, I had, back then I didn't have the resources to vet them properly until, of course, you, Fred, a couple of years ago, he told me about Smart Move. I didn't vet them as properly and I just got annoyed and I just sold them because my mindset was already being a flipper. So I just sold them when I could have just kept those going and free and clear and didn't have to pay any damn thing. So yes, there are pros and cons, and I digress.
Okay, so you say it's a pro to con to flipping or pro to con to holding?
Pros and cons to flipping.
Oh, okay. So do you disagree? I know you say I'm bashing you guys, but do you disagree with anything I said?
Somewhat, it's to each his own. Some people don't want to be renters, but to be honest with you,
They don't want to be landlords.
yeah, they don't want to be landlords. They just want to get in and out, get in and out. But the fact of the matter, the problem is the economy is just so different. Because remember when I spoke to you about me holding it, I was gonna flip, then hold one, flip, hold on. Remember I said that? I didn't anticipate for 2020 to happen. And here I go on a frenzy selling off stuff right when it happened.
Okay,
You
let
see
me
what
ask
I'm
you this,
saying?
just to give people a perspective, right? How many properties you think you just rough number that you flip?
Remember, I already told you I ain't talking about you.
Okay,
It's a
over
good
10,
deal
right?
in a
Just say
good
over 10, right? Okay, so let me ask you this. what if, like, do you ever think about like, what if you had all of those I ain't asked you how many you have now currently, right? I'm just saying like you flip. If
Okay,
you if
if you want to put it that way, last time, well, 2 calls ago, I felt shamed. Okay, when you were talking about holding my flips with not doing anything in it. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was to, let's put it this way, I was flying by the seat of my pants. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't I didn't have a mentor. So if if I was to if I was to hold them all, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was to hold them all, I would be worth millions. I couldn't even count how many millions because you're telling me 10. Remember, I've been doing this since 2016, and there's quite a few of them. Like just so many, I can't even count. And every now and then I do go back and because the price points were so low and they were so worth so much more, I, 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 c- I can't even imagine how much millions I would have. I would be sitting here not even wanting to buy another home, just to be honest with you. I wouldn't even think about buying another home. I would technically at that point take a property manager.
and see everybody, all the flippers that I ever ran across, guess what? They've been doing it for a while. They no longer flipping and they're holding. They're no longer flipping and they're holding. Like years ago, when I told you, I was like, I'm not flipping. I was like, I'm holding. He was like, no, I'm holding because I already knew like, okay, you buy and hold, like buy and hold. It's gonna come to a point where you're gonna start seeing that money coming in. Like you're gonna be like, wait a second, you seeing the equity going crazy? Like you said, multi-millionaire. they they round said it takes 17 years to become a millionaire. No, it do not. Not in real estate. I'm here to tell you, no, it do not. You can get there if you in Metro Atlanta. I can't speak for Midwest and all that, but I'm talking about right here, like Midwest places like that. You could buy those and you could just cash flow. Like they're gonna be like a cash cow. You could just it's good to mix it up. Don't get me wrong. I will say buy some out there and you can cash flow. But here in the city, the Metro Atlanta or any metro city that are booming, you gonna um you're gonna benefit a lot from it. I'm sorry, Miss Felicia, you had your hand up. You got a question?
Okay.
Felicia, are you on mute?
Yes, I am. Here's Andre. He had a question.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, how you
What's
doing,
up,
Fred?
Trey?
My question is, like, with the buy and hold strategy that you use,
Hmm.
uh, when tax time do come around, do you get to accelerate the depreciation of what is that called? Accelerating the depreciation of the property as far as tax write-offs by chance? Is that something that's part of your strategy?
Oh yeah. Like I told you, I don't know if you was on earlier, I was talking about using your taxes as part of building wealth. And that's gonna help you out so you're not paying money back at the end of the year. So, man, I could just go down the list off of so many write-offs you get by
Mm-hmm.
owning real estate, by owning real estate, not by flipping real estate, by owning. When you flip, you trigger a tax bill. When you hold, you saving money on your taxes.
Capital gains.
What was that?
Mm-hmm. You said the capital gains tax bill.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So you paying taxes on
Okay.
capital. Miss Randall, you go ahead. You got
Okay.
a question?
Yes, I had a question. For those of you who have multiple properties, do you ever refinance one to pay off another if you're holding it? So that can be a debt-free property?
No, not doing that.
Okay.
No,
So you keep
I would rather because I would rather stay in that building phase. So when I refinance, I'm going and buy more.
okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm going to buy more because I know these properties going to keep increasing in value over time. So you want to just get as many as you can. You see what I'm saying? Like so when you refinance, your goal is to go hunt and find some more property, not so much worried about paying this one off right now.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have enough cash flow coming in every month where you're gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have you have a good bit of cash flow coming in every month where you straight. So you can pretty much just pay for stuff, buy stuff, and you know what I mean? Like,
No,
yeah,
I asked because I know someone who's been in real estate for a long time, and he had said that to me a couple of years ago, and I was just wondering, what was your take on that?
no. My take on it is buy more. Like, don't pay one off. Just go buy more.
Okay, thank you.
Are you guys learning something?
Yes.
Okay. And everybody congratulate Miss Felicia. She just joined. Her and Andre just joined my course. And Miss Randall gonna be joining soon. So um but yeah, so good, 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 good. And what time it is? Yeah, so guys, that's we're gonna wrap it up if we don't have any more questions. It was good. Just go over everything, give you different perspective on the flip versus buy and hold because I know a few people be interested in that flip thing. But like once again, I just want you to remember to use um, think about your taxes when you're looking at building wealth. You want to think about your taxes as well. Okay, so I know that money be looking good. Sometimes be like, yeah, I can get a quick dollar, but sometimes it's just be a little bit patient and you're gonna get that you're gonna get more on the back end. So if you could just not be so eager to sell when somebody dingling a little money in your face and just be patient, hold out for a little bit. It might take you a year, it might take you 2 or 3 years, but just be patient and hold it and you won't regret it. All right, so see you guys next week. Thank you for joining, spending an hour with me on the call, and I will see you guys next week.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Frederick.
Thank you. Have a
Appreciate
good
it.
night.
Have a good night, everybody.
No.